meet you. I'm Mandy Burns.
Nice to meet you. I'm Veronica.
Hi, I'm Hank.
Veronica. All right, here, come take a seat and we'll get started on why you guys are here today. So, tell me why you guys are here today.
My wife and I are concerned about the baby on the way. Our son Burns has PKU and now suffers from mental retardation from not following his diet thoroughly.
Is there any way we can see if our soon-to-be child will be affected with this disease as well?
Well, Mr. and Miss Burns, PKU is a recessive disease. Recessive diseases are diseases carried down through the hidden characters in humans' genotypes. Therefore, PKU only occurs when there are two recessive alleles in a parent's genotype. To visualize the genetics, we use diagrams called Punnett squares. These are filled with upper and lowercase letters that represent the parent's dominant and recessive genes. When two parents' genotypes are crossed in a Punnett square, the results show what their child's genotype could possibly be. The uppercase letters represent dominant genes and lowercase letters represent recessive genes. A pair of two capital letters represents the genes dominant to the trait we are testing for. A pair of two lowercase letters represents the genes recessive to the trait that's being tested for. If there is a capital letter paired with a lowercase letter, that is called a heterozygote. To see what the chances of your child having PKU is, we must test for what you as the parent's genotypes are. When we carry out a genetics test, we look at the person's DNA we are testing, which will show us if you carry or have any genetic diseases that can pass down to your children. It will show us what genotypes you and your wife have, and after crossing those in a Punnett square, we can see what % chance your child can be affected by this disease. It is your choice if you would like to find out what your baby on the way's chances of being affected with this disease are.
So we will not know for sure if the baby will be affected, and the results of the test only show us what the chances our baby has of being affected?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I think at least we will have an idea of how likely or unlikely our baby will be affected with PKU. Then, Hank, we can prepare for what the outcome may be. Let's get the test.
I agree. I think we should get it. So what is the normal price for one of these tests?
The test prices range from $100 to $2,000. It all depends on how complex the test is. For a simple DNA test, it is $100. That is the test that will give you what your and Mandy's genotypes are and give us enough information to see what the chances of the baby being affected are.
All right, let's do the DNA test. My husband has just lost his job, so we are a little shorter in our budget this month.
Okay, I will go prepare for the testing. Hello everyone and welcome to the Margaret and Kelsey Show. Today we have a special guest that those of you may know as Amazing Amanda, but now she goes by Mandy Burns.
Now before our special guest comes out, I'm sure you all know her devastating story about her son Burns, who is suffering from the disease PKU.
We have a video from Dr. Pepper to explain to you exactly what PKU is. Let's take a look.
For those of you who do not know what PKU is, the causes, and what it can result in, I'll explain it to all of you. PKU is a recessive disease that occurs when there is a lack of an enzyme that breaks down amino acids in food. Therefore, you have to follow a strict diet that has a very low amount of amino acids. If a person affected with PKU does not follow this diet that restricts them from eating common foods, the amino acids in their system will build up and can cause mental retardation. A typical diet that a person with PKU would eat restricts all meats, dairy products, nuts, seeds, legumes, breads, meat substitutes, and any foods that contain aspartame. Many foods that can be consumed by a person with PKU can only be consumed in certain portions or amounts, such as spinach, broccoli, peas, potatoes, corn, rice, potato chips, crackers, various snack foods, cookies, and cereal.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi,
Mandy. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
So we've all heard the rumor you're expecting a new baby soon. Do you have any concerns about your next child being affected with PKU like son?
Yes, son had a hard time sticking to his diet when I was not mentally stable because he had no one to look after him or to monitor the food he was eating. So yes, that was difficult. I take full responsibility for this. It's the biggest regret of my life because now he is mentally challenged and it will continue to affect him for the rest of his life.
You shouldn't beat yourself up about this. Yes, it's a terrible situation, but this wasn't your intention.
I guess you're right, but it's just a hard thing to let go.
Yes, you have all our sympathies. So based on what Dr. Pepper explained about what people with PKU can and cannot eat to avoid mental retardation, what does an average meal consist of for Son?
Well, for lunch, for example, he would eat a sandwich with low-protein bread, butter, jam, honey, or Marmite. Then he would eat a vegetable soup with a fruit cordial drink and a prescribed protein substitute.
What about breakfast?
He would eat breakfast cereal, skimmed milk, sugar or 1 to 2 slices of low-protein bread, butter, jam, honey, or Marmite, a large glass of fresh fruit juice, and a protein substitute.
And what about dinner?
Beans, potatoes, or low-protein pasta, vegetables or salad, fruit salad, a drink, and a protein substitute too.
Interesting. Yeah. Have you considered going to a genetics counselor to find out if your next child will be affected?
Yes, I've been referred to one. My husband Hank and I went and got tested.
Have you gotten your results back yet?
No, they take a while to come in. But when we went to the counselor, he explained to us the basic process of how this disease gets carried down through our genes.
Well, it seems you're very informed on the subject matter, and we're all glad to see you're doing much better. Thank you so much for coming on our show, Mandy. That's all we have today. I'm Margaret.
And I'm Kelsey.
We'll both see you next week. Bye, Mandy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Hi, Mandy and Hank. How are you guys? Are you ready to get back your results?
Yes, we've been waiting for so long.
We're very anxious to see what our results are.
Okay, let's get down to it. Follow me. So as I told you all last time, PKU is a recessive disorder. To make this simple, I'm going to use letters to represent your genotypes. If you have a recessive disorder, you have 2 lowercase a's. If you're not affected by the disease at all, you can have 2 uppercase a's or an uppercase and a lowercase a. But if you have an uppercase and a lowercase a, you are a carrier to the disease, which means that your children can be affected, but you will not be. So if you take a look over here at my Punnett square that I drew with you guys' genotypes, you guys are both heterozygous to PKU, which means that you both carry it but are not affected. So here's your genotypes. I crossed it, and you can see that there's a 25% chance that your child will be affected with PKU, and there's a 50% chance that your child will not be affected but will be a carrier of PKU. And then there's a 25% chance of your child not having the disease at all and not carrying it either.
That's not that bad.
Right, there's a big chance that our child will not be affected.
Hopefully we have nothing to worry about. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much
for
for
your
your
time.
help.
You've been the biggest help.